This is the entrance to the Appalachian Museum. It's the address is 2819 Andersonville Highway, Clinton, Tennessee, 37716. I spent not enough time here. I'm on my way to sell in Kentucky, and I saw this on one of the brown signs on the freeway. This is an out-of-the-way museum that I really never even knew about. You just watch this. You are going to love it. This is a walking tour of going to buildings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. It's going to take me a while to get through here, so bear with me. These are just a couple of peacocks. I got one over here too. Here's a little trivia for you. I heard a long time ago. Some people pronounce this Appalachia. Some people pronounce it Appalachia. Always remember, get the sound of the rad in there. It's Appalachia, Appalachia, Appalachia. Whatever it is, it's not Appalachia. It's Appalachia. All right. Now I'm going to stop here. We can see what we're actually looking at. Always remember the trivia. Alright, we need to get to the first building. I'm headed into the first building. Let's see what's inside the first one. One is Peter's Homestead House. (1856), entire life. Died in 1943. Alright, we're stepping up into it. Yeah, I tell you what, we're talking minimalist living. Isn't this cool? I love these old places. Look at this bed. Many of you have probably, if you're old as I am, probably have slept in a feather mattress, feather bed. Alright, let's walk up the... Oh, they got the stairs roped off. Well, I guess we won't be going up the stairs. Alright, off to the next building. Peacock again. I'm going to have to walk right where he is, so let's see what he does. Let's see if he spreads his feathers out and says, don't be walking. Look at that, he's going to stay right there. Look at it. Alright, I'll be walking around him. He's not going to move. I figured he'd be a little bit skittish, but there he goes. There he goes. Come on, spread those feathers so I can get a good shot. All right? Nah, I guess he's not going to do it for me. All right. Next, I have to contrast the male. See all his bright plumage, beautiful and all that? And then here's a female. Isn't that the opposite in the human? In the animal kingdom, I guess the male's like the big lion, and then you see the little lioness. Here you see the plain-looking female, and over here you see the all-colored-up male. What in the world would be the reason for that? I don't know. We are at Irwin's Chapel, established 1840. Let's go inside. You can imagine a bunch of the old gospel songs in this building right here. Bringing in the sheaves, how great thou art. All hail the power of Jesus' name. Non-stop. See this stove right here? When in 1967, I was in a chapel about a little bit bigger than this in Monteagle, Tennessee, and that was our stove right there. That's I mean, that was it right there. That little round belly would just get rosy red. Rosy red. Back in that chapel, I was preaching. And see that back door right there? Now remember, this is Monteagle back in the 60s. If anybody knows the Monteagle area, a road went right by our chapel door to a bootlegger's place. But during the and I was only a 20-year-old kid, okay, so you're going to love this story. During the preaching, someone opened up that back door and threw a string of firecrackers inside the building. And of course, it was, you know, we didn't get all that excited. We just accepted it and waited for them to pop. Like, I don't know, 20 pops or whatever, and it just went out. But that was back when I was a student at Tennessee Temple College in Chattanooga. I used to pastor that chapel up in Monteagle. This reminds me a lot of that. Yeah, I can just imagine the scene, how it would just bounce off these small, close walls. This is an amazing place right here. Tater Valley Schoolhouse. I got to get in this one for sure. I already told you on a different video I made of these one-room schoolhouses. I'm 70, so we're talking, oh golly, I would have been 12. So we're talking, what was that, 58 years ago? I went to a one-room schoolhouse, 13 students. It's out by Lake Crystal, Minnesota. Any of my family, I can't remember the name of that school though. But this brings back memories. I had one teacher, and we had about every grade. She taught everything. I wish this was enough to see what it looks like. This is a picture back in the day. Look at that. I wish it was dated so I'd see what date it was. Come on, give me a date. Give me a date. Give me a date. State of Tennessee. There's got to be a date. Come on, give me a date. This day of August. What is it? Son of a gun, give me a date. Day of 10th day of August. What's the year? From the day of 10th day, reach to the full. Oh, come on. 2017. Maybe I can get a date on another picture here. It's got to be in the 1800s. Oh, here we go. Here we go. 1933. 35 miles north of Knoxville, immediately prior to this area being covered by the backwaters of Norris Dam. The teacher is Dora Stocksberry, and the scholars are as follows. Is that cool? Tell me that's cool. 1933. I would have been in a schoolhouse in like 1958, 59. Probably one of the last few one-room schools in Minnesota. I'll have to call my sister and ask her what the name of that school was. She'll remember. She remembers that stuff. She did all of our genealogies and all that kind of stuff. But there's so many buildings in this Appalachian Museum to go to, and because I try to keep my videos down to 10 minutes, I'm going to probably close this thing down. But if you guys have any interest in this kind of stuff, you can spend all day or 15 bucks. Well, I had a senior discount because I'm an old man, but 15 bucks and you can spend all day in here. And some of you old timers, it's going to bring back some good memories. This is what I was in another life. Doc Randall's Medicine Show, pills, tonic, music. I guarantee you, in another life, I was a traveling snake oil salesman. I love this old stuff. God, I love this. Here's the Mark Twain family cabin. Let's just step inside here. Look at this. Most of these cabins are pretty much, if you've seen one, you've probably basically seen them all. A place for the heat, the fireplace, a couple of places to live, the loft that goes upstairs. Again, they have this roped off. But they have a leather shop in here. And I got to hurry up and get to that because I make leather belts, so my interest is in that. A saddle shop. Hobart Haygood carried mail by horseback for many years in his native Persia, Tennessee. He started this harness saddle shop to make and repair the tack. First for his own use and later for the community. Mail carrier. But check out this shop. Check out this shop. Look at this. By God's help, I hope to erect or have erected signs on the moon and 9 planets by 2020. Look at that. This can happen. Look at all these signs. So he's already put it in 50 states, 82 nations on the 7 seas. Wow, what a dedicated. Look what that is. That's, listen. You see what that is? Isn't that amazing? If you go to hell, it's your fault. Prepare to meet God. Look at all these signs. I wonder how many of you, put comments in my video if you would. Have you ever seen any of these signs? They were in all 50 states. There's a coal miner who waged a one-man crusade for God on the roadsides of America. I have never seen one of these signs. 1918. Wow. I would love to have comments on this. Someone has got to remember these signs. This is called an upping block. From the courthouse in Manchester, Kentucky. This is how you'd mount your horse. Especially if you're a short little fellow like me and you had a tall horse, you just pull it up alongside that mounting or upping block, step up on the horse. This is the display barn. I'm going to go inside and slowly walk through it with my jerky manner. But I gotta have a bunch of these things on there. There's an old anvil, all the different rifles. I'll get up close and see what some of the words say. Sort of what you have to ask the answer. Okay. I was hoping they'd tell us what they were. Okay, this is the Arlington family shotgun. Look at that. Jim Arlington was 13. His grandfather, Harry, was 75. The year was 1950. I was 2 years old. While hunting on the home farm, young Jim's grandfather became disgusted because he couldn't bag any more game. He turned to his grandson, handed him the shotgun, and said, "Here, I can't hunt anymore. It's yours." 1950. I'll just take wide shots of this. The Appalachian Hall of Fame. What better way is there to know a people than to study the everyday things they made, used, mended, and cherished, and cared for with loving hands? Look at this house here. This house is not any bigger than my van. If he stretched his arms out, he could almost touch the opposing walls of 8 foot by 8 foot home. Tom once said, "I've got that little cot in there, a chair, a stove for heat and cooking, a frying pan, a bean pot, an old dresser, my fiddle, and my pistol. What more does a man need?" When the museum purchased the cabin in 2007, it was exactly as Tom had left it. Here's a quick glance inside, exactly as he left it, even with Kitty Wells. Is that amazing? Tiny as a van. One of those mounting blocks. For mounting horses, this stone slab and the 2 large stone posts came from the old Fred Cox place near Jonesville, Virginia. If you ever come here, plan on spending hours, not just 2 hours, but hours. You will love this off-the-road attraction.